Thanks very much, Mark. It is estimated that there are between 20 and 30 million people that are enslaved, and that roughly 600,000 to 800,000 are moved across international borders each and every year, with half of them being women and children. This is a huge epidemic. Joining me right now, John O'Neill with the Vail Symposium. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing well, Hobie. Glad to
good
be
to see
here.
you. Last time we talked, we were chatting about kayaking, something that's a lot more fun. This is serious, and I've learned more about this in the past few years. We don't think about it necessarily here in the mountains, but this is something, a hot topic that involves everyone.
It really does, and you read those statistics. Those are some of the international statistics, but you can even bring it across in the U.S. It's estimated there's between 14,500 and 17,500 people in the U.S. Or that are trafficked into the U.S. every year.
And when we talk about slavery, how do you mean? I mean, in what capacity? I think a lot of people immediately, their attention turns to the sex slave trade market, but this goes beyond that.
Yeah, so there is sex trafficking, but there's also a labor market for it. And people moving across borders unwillingly, being forced out of their homes and into the United States or into a different country. Obviously, if you extract our numbers out of the statistics you just read about things that go on internationally, it's not as big of a problem here, but it's still alarming to know. And what's worse is that we're going to have 3 panelists come and speak tonight, and all 3 of them live and work in the United States, because there's something like 150 human trafficking cases that are investigated every year in Colorado. And it's thought that the I-70 corridor that runs right behind us is an artery for this heinous and criminal industry in the U.S.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but I will say over the years I've heard rumors of things here in our valley, okay, of certain things that have happened. We have police that come on our show sometime, and we've talked about this type of thing, and they've informed me of this, that it happens even in our own community. As you said, I-70 is a main corridor through the United States to do the trafficking. The trafficking also, and the slavery, from what I've learned, it's different than what we think of historically, slavery. This is a lot of times, the mental anguish that's put on them, just the threats that are put on them. I mean, they're forced into doing this work, not necessarily by being shackled, but by being kind of mentally tortured into being convinced that they can't leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just a heinous industry, and
it is.
and it's a terrible crime, and it's really alarming to know that it can happen in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have tonight is we're going to have 3 panelists come and speak, and each one of them has a different background. And the program's completely free, by the way. We want to get as many people in as possible, and it's at CMC in Edwards tonight, starting at 6 p.m. We're going to have somebody from law enforcement, somebody from prosecution, from the actual law and order side of things, and then also a community educator who goes into places and warns about the risks of, if you could be subject to it, if you could be basically kidnapped, you could be held against your will, things like this. So it's going to be really interesting.
Deep and emotional, I think. I mean, this is...
I think at the Vail Symposium, we try to keep everything informative, so you can really learn, form your own opinion on something, and then go out and, if you feel drawn to take action on this or volunteer with an organization or donate some money, whatever way possible. But I think it's going to be interesting. We're also going to have a walk-through exhibit from the Freedom Drivers Project, which is truckers against human trafficking. So they're going to come in and set up, and you'll be able to walk through and actually see some kind of real cases and some things from real actual cases.
We do have to conclude this, but I wanted to ask quickly, how did you come up with this group? This collaboration? I mean, did they travel together? I mean, because this is really unique.
Well, we just look, we just look to really round it out and bring somebody, like we said, from, who works in law, somebody who works in law enforcement, and then somebody who works in community education. So really we collaborated on our program committee, put it together, and it's going to be a great program tonight.
It really is.
Really a lot to learn, free at Colorado Mountain College in Edwards, starting at 6 p.m.
I appreciate what the Vail Symposium does for our community, and the fact that you made this one free, because it is important to spread the word. Time and place once again?
So 6 p.m. is when you can walk through the exhibit at CMC in Edwards. 7 p.m. is when the lecture starts. It's free. So whenever you can make it in, between 6 and 7, we'll be happy to have you.
John O'Neill, thank you very much. Good to see you off the crutches, my friend.
Yeah.
You're looking good these days.
Back at it.
All right, make sure that you go by there and check it out, and also go online and look at all the events that come up for the Vail Symposium. This one is unique and profound, I think, and it's a good one for the community to come out, and it's free as well. We'll see you tonight in Edwards. We'll also see you on the back patio in a moment. We're going to discuss a little bit more about fly fishing as we have your report coming up.